Vampire Hunter D's nuts. We got it out of the way. Hello and welcome to the Weeb Years, a look back at the media and culture of the Western anime boom. I'm Beanie.
I'm Laurel.
And I'm MaeMae.
I don't know about you guys, but I really want to play some Castlevania right now. MaeMae, what did we watch this time?
We watched Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust.
Yeah.
So I found out this is the second movie. Have either of you seen the first?
No, but I did take a peek at it.
I debated watching the first movie as just like a little fun extra thing, and I was like, that seems better reserved for the Patreon, maybe.
This universe is fascinating to me.
It is so cool.
Well, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into talking about it.
Let's
Hell
go.
Yeah!
Vampire Hunter D began life as a series of novels written by Hideyuki Kikuchi, with the first one being published in 1983. The franchise follows the titular D, a half-human, half-vampire called a Dhampir, or Dhampir in the dub of this movie, who goes around hunting monsters in a post-apocalyptic world that sorta resembles 1700s England, but with tanks and laser guns. And yeah, just real quick, I was not expecting this to be a soft sci-fi. Like, I thought this was purely... I had seen clips and shit of this movie before. I thought it was just purely like dark gothic fantasy, but then this movie opens with a shot of a gothic cathedral spaceship hovering over the planet with the text of like many years in the future. And there's like cyborg horses and shit. I wasn't ready for that. It's cool. I wasn't prepared.
No, it's so cool.
The novels also feature artwork by Yoshitaka Amano, probably best known in the West for his striking gothic artwork that he contributes to the Final Fantasy franchise.
Oh my god.
I didn't know that.
I have a book of his art. I had no idea.
At a current 56 novels, which collectively have sold over 17 million copies worldwide, Vampire Hunter D is one of the most successful book series in history.
Wow.
So when are we reading all of those?
In 1985, the books saw their first adaptation in the form of an anime film simply titled Vampire Hunter D, based on the first novel. We're actually recording this still in 2025, which is the 40th anniversary of the movie.
That's crazy.
I believe Discotek is doing one of their big, like, catch it in theaters in HD things right now.
Oh, so it's the first one that's in theaters. It's not Bloodlust?
Yeah, the first one.
Okay.
Now, Bloodlust is based on the third book in the series, Demon Death Chase, and was directed by Yoshiaki Kawajiri, who had already directed adaptations of a number of Amano's works, such as Wicked City and Demon City Shinjuku. The film was primarily animated by Studio Madhouse, and interestingly, the English dub was actually recorded first with the animation done to match, and then the Japanese dub was being done as an adaptation.
From what I understand, it was a while before there was a Japanese dub as well.
I don't think it was I think maybe like a year at most. I just think it's really cool that they recorded the English dub first and like matched all the lip flaps and such to that.
It's super cool.
In 2002, Bloodlust was released on both VHS and DVD in North America by Urban Vision. Today, the rights are held by good old Discotek Media, who have released the film on Blu-ray. However, due to some weird licensing issues, it was only allowed to include the English dub.
Oh.
Yeah, I was actually going to get into that. Because the Japanese dub was done afterward, the rights are held separately.
Interesting. Now, the reason why we're taking a look at Bloodlust over the original 1985 film is simply that this left way more of a mark on the Western weeb spaces than the first movie did. This was an icon of the edgy anime scene, one of the quintessential, my cousin Tommy who lives in his van gave me a bootleg VHS of this when mom and dad were in the other room.
Shout out to Tommy.
Shout out to Tommy.
We love Tommy.
Bloodlust sees D hired by a rich old man to hunt down and return his daughter Charlotte, who's been taken away by the vampire Meyer Link. Before we get too much further, had either of you seen or heard of this movie before?
Yes. I know a bunch of people who like it, and the music and shit I think has been used in tabletop.
Oh, like your tabletop sessions?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty rad.
What about you, MaeMae?
So, I was a dumb child, and I thought for at least a few months that every anime that had the word vampire in it was somehow connected. I still don't know why I thought that.
That's so cute. What?
Okay, I need clarification. When you say child, do you mean child or do you mean like you were 14?
I was like 12 or 13, so.
Okay.
Oh my god, this would be so weird to watch after watching Vampire Night.
Oh god. I knew of this movie thanks to an AMV that used clips from both this and Helsing, along with the song Vampire Club by Aurelio Voltaire.
Oh.
Whoa, that's intense.
Maybe I think I interrupted you. You were still talking about how you knew about this movie.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I definitely thought that all vampire media, when it came to anime anyway, was related. And I think what it came down to, I had a second to think about it, was I saw Vampire Hunter D, and then I saw Helsing, and they both have a big giant hat. And I'm like, oh, they have hats. They must be related. I don't know why that works either.
You know, Japan does have a thing about giving their vampires big hats, because you know who else has a big hat is the vampire lead of Black Blood Brothers.
Beanie, what's that?
Hang on,
know
let
that
me
either.
show you a picture. Look at this guy's silly vampire hat.
That is so silly. Holy cow.
So let's get the obvious thing out of the way. The aesthetics and art direction of this film are delicious.
What's crazy is like the first scene is so strong and it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, it doesn't ever let up.
The fucking opening scene where you see a character get carried off in a mirror but you don't see who's carrying her is the coolest shit ever. And then they continue to use shots like that throughout and it's great.
The entire opening scene of Meyer Link coming into the village to take Charlotte away, and just like his mere presence is causing windows to shatter and flowers to die. Oh, it's so cool.
It's so hot of him.
I'm so normal about vampires.
It's so 80s music video without being an 80s music video.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's that intense emotion. It's that intense, like, grit to the animation. Everything is fluid, but it's still alive, and it probably won't be very long because vampires, but whoa.
It's so fucking goth.
We talked about his influence a little bit earlier. Even if Yoshitaka Amano wasn't actually the character designer for this movie, the influence of the artwork that he would have done in the novels is incredibly strong in the visual language and art style of this movie.
Yeah.
I had a similar thought watching this movie that I did when we were watching Kaiba, which is that this is one of those where you could pause at any point during this movie, and I think you could use it as a desktop wallpaper.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yes.
Also definitely worth praising. I think the voice acting is great. You've got Andrew Philpott doing a fantastic job as D. John Rafter Lee's deep and smooth voice adds such a nice level of, I'm gonna say, calm intimidation to Meyer Link. And you even got some bigger names in there too, like Pamela Segal, John DiMaggio, Wendy Lee.
I was fucking shocked when I saw John DiMaggio was in this movie. I was like, what the fuck do you mean John DiMaggio is in this movie?
Pretty soon we get introduced to the Marcus brothers, a gang of vampire hunters also hired by the rich old guy to bring back Charlotte, basically in a race with Dee to see who can get her first. These guys are a real fucking treat. They all have really fun designs and cool weapons and powers. None of them are particularly deep characters, but they're really fun when they're on screen.
But Beanie, they have a tank. They don't need to be deep.
They have a tank that can give birth to a motorcycle, and also its headlights are crucifixes.
Hell yeah.
That does fuck. I think Layla has a decent amount of character to her and depth. I wouldn't say none of them have depth, but I think that most of them do not get the exposition to make them into interesting characters in this film. I can't speak for the novel.
Yeah, the most important member of the squad for plot purposes is definitely Layla, voiced by Bobby Hill.
Holy shit!
She gets the most character focus out of pretty much anyone in the movie, arguably even more than Dee. I'm not going to say it's anything unique or interesting, but it's nice that they at least try to give her some focus beyond the one with boobs. Speaking of boobs, I know this came out in 2000, but this is absolutely an edgy 90s anime in spirit. And for an edgy 90s anime, I'm surprised by how little titty there was. There was only like 2 scenes with any titty.
It's true, they weren't out there.
You get a lot toward the end.
There's a little bit of titty, but it's very reserved titty for what you would expect from a film of this style. And from this director. I didn't mention it earlier, but this guy also directed Ninja Scroll.
Oh,
God,
interesting.
I have mentioned Ninja Scroll in like 7 different episodes so far. We really need to watch some fucking Ninja Scroll.
I think it's about time. Now, for it being an edgy 90s anime in spirit, it was not overwhelmingly tittified, which was pretty cool.
It also wasn't overwhelmingly gory. Like, it was violent and action-packed, but there wasn't any, like, confetti of intestines or anything like that. Which is also interesting because it is a horror film. You would think if you're gonna do that in anything, you'd do it in the gothic horror film.
Well, there is a big theory in horror that sometimes what the mind fills in is scarier than what you see on screen. You see this in a lot of classic horror, especially Texas Chainsaw. In Texas Chainsaw, there's, like, no gore whatsoever.
It's just the threat of it.
But I also don't know if this director is someone known for his restraint.
No, but
I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying it's surprising.
I think that it's intentional, usually, in horror. It's like a negative space. You're leaving it there because you know that whatever you do is not going to be as scary as whatever the person can think in their head.
I used to do a lot of, like, short horror comics, usually leaning on, like, a little bit more lighthearted. So your point of, nothing scarier than what the audience can imagine is expressly true in this one. There's not a lot of gore. Even the action, it leaves you guessing as to what happens to a character after they're beaten or hurt in some way, which is really fun. In most cases, it's, they killed the vampire. But in some cases, it leaves you guessing, and that is a lot scarier and keeps you on your toes for the thrilling part of the horror.
There's a number of scenes where you think, oh, that bitch is dead, and then that bitch shows up 5 minutes later.
It's very classic horror, and it's very, like, creature feature.
Eventually, both Dee and the Marcus brothers track Meyer to the city of Barbaroi, which is a sort of, like, safe haven for monsters. Meyer pays their leader for protection, which results in a trio of monsters tagging along with him as bodyguards against the bounty hunters. There's a silly little freak who can manipulate shadows, a sexy shapeshifter lady, and a werewolf.
Sorta.
I love how fucking creative all of the creature designs in this film are. Like, even that werewolf isn't just a werewolf. He has a fucking mouth in his stomach.
I told people I was watching this, and they were like, let me know what you think of the werewolf. And then I got to it, and I was like, this is not what I expected.
Yeah, no, I read werewolf, and then this happened. And as a furry, what? But as a normal person with an appreciation for character design, it's very, very cool.
It's rad. And it's fun, too, because, like, when you're first introduced to him in his, like, air quotes, human form, I saw him, and I could immediately tell, like, oh, that bitch is gonna turn out to be a werewolf.
Oh, totally.
And then he turns into a werewolf, and I was like, I knew it. That bitch is a what the fuck?
Yeah. I've heard of tummies growling, but not like this.
Amazing. So speaking about these bodyguards, I kind of want to talk about Meyer himself, but also Meyer and Charlotte. They're definitely not a traditional match, human and vampire, in the sense that it wasn't necessarily classic when this came out, I guess. Mm-hmm. But they're actually really cute together.
They are.
I love they're precious. I really love the realization that, they care about each other, and that's going to change everything.
Because when it opens, you think it's just a basic, evil vampire has kidnapped the fair maiden. But
I didn't think
no,
that.
The fair maiden is into it.
The look on her face when she gets picked up immediately made me think, okay, there's something going on here. This isn't just her being kidnapped.
No, I totally saw the same thing.
Or even if I did catch that, there's enough vampire media like this where one of the vampire's powers is hypnosis and suggestion.
Sure,
so
mesmerism.
You could also see that as mesmerism. I was honestly kind of waiting for the reveal where it's like, no, he did actually like hypnotize her into being in love with her, or into being in love with him.
I was going the other direction. I wanted it so bad.
I really like the scenes where you see Meyer actually like fighting back against his bloodlust. Bloodlust.
Yeah.
Fighting back against his bloodlust. Whenever he's around Charlotte, like it's really, really good. Also, the scenes where Charlotte is like, I don't want to be taken away from him, I'm gonna straight up fucking kill myself if you take me away from my man.
I think, too, what really helps is Charlotte feels like a more mature character, and usually in a lot of these situations you see very young girls getting into these situations. And I do think there is a reading of this that you could take where he is, in a sense, grooming a mortal, but it doesn't feel like it in this film.
No, it really doesn't feel like it.
I do question, they never actually say her age, but they do, at one point, they're like, oh, you're too young to know what you want. They throw that line. So I do question how old she is supposed to be.
Isn't that her? Is that, who says that?
I think it's Dee who says that. But then also maybe the, like,
Dee, you're
hundreds of year old vampire saying you're too young doesn't have the weight to it that that meant it normally would.
I think he's gonna be a little skewed there. But no, like there's a entire culture of help me with this word
monster fuckers.
Well, okay, yes, I was getting there. Give me just a minute to get there. Let me make this point.
I thought that's what you were going into.
No, is the word infant? It's infant.
Infantilization.
Something. Thank you. Okay. There's this whole culture of infantilization for young girls, and especially in these horror situations, because they're, oh my god, he's a monster. How could you? You couldn't possibly know what you want because you're too young or you're too dumb. And Girly stands up for herself, and that is respectable, and I'm just so happy for her.
I love that. I think, too, it reads a bit differently to me considering her only family alive is men.
Yeah.
Like, it feels very much like they're trying to keep her in line as a woman and not she's actually like 17.
Right. No, it reads absolutely like she is in their possession and less that she is too young to know what she's doing.
Yeah.
Now, MaeMae, I think you wanted to talk about monster fuckers.
Yes.
Yeah!
As a certified badge-carrying, pin-wearing monster fucker, I just really want to applaud this entire movie, but a couple of good points. Charlotte, for sticking up for it. Also, I just want to mention that look that she has when Mayor takes her away. I was cheering so hard for them to actually care about each other. I'm like, man, this almost never happens when vampires are viewed as, like a villain sort of deal. We very rarely get, actual emotions, and here they are loving each other out in the open at some parts, and my little heart was just so happy.
Yeah. I love whenever there's a narrative where there's a character who doesn't feel at home in the human world, but when they find the world of the supernatural, they're taken in and they finally feel like themselves. I love stories like that.
Which traditionally is used as very queer narratives. Like, that's why queer people love monsters so much.
Yeah, because we suddenly feel at home.
Oh, hey, look, and like, here's this thing that is being treated as an other by normal society.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I'm going to go cry for a minute, because you're right.
Okay, I don't like how often I seem to do this these days, but it's time to enter Beanie's Complaint Corner.
Yay!
Oh, let's go.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, pew, pew.
I would argue that the romance between Meyer and Charlotte is kind of the only interesting thing about this movie narratively.
I disagree.
A lot of the character and narrative-based stuff in this movie really falls flat for me. Like, you've got Layla trying to avenge her dead parents, which, yeah, who fucking isn't? Dee's whole motivation is that he wants to stop Meyer and Charlotte from giving birth to another Dhampir like himself, but they never actually say why that's bad. I assume it's explained in the novels, but we didn't read those, now did we?
Well, it's like, I assumed it was because he doesn't want other Dhampirs to have to go through the same shit he did, where he feels like he's truly alone, not taken in by vampires or humans entirely.
Yeah, he doesn't want him to be alienated.
I would argue, hey, if you made a bunch more Dhampirs, you wouldn't be alone anymore. I think you've got some shitty logic there, Dee.
He's
wrong.
lonely. Cut him some slack.
That's exactly. He's lonely. Why wouldn't he want more Dhampir?
Well, then he's just gonna have to be their dad and raise them and teach them about stuff, and he don't want to do that.
It's also because he hates his father,
He does
which
hate
comes
his
up in the
father.
books.
Look, this movie is really fun. It is beautiful. The action scenes are amazing. The character designs are great. The writing is kinda butts. And that's okay. It's okay that the writing's kind of butts. It's still fun.
I really like the progression of Dee and Layla's relationship. I feel like that's also a really strong aspect, and the fact that there is a lot of hostility at first and you get to sort of slowly see them come to an understanding of each other and grow as people.
I really enjoyed that. I really like the accusatory, "Are you in love with him?" And she's like, "What the fuck do you mean?"
It's because I'm the one woman here.
You think I'm just falling in love with everyone because I'm having a conversation with him? I've seen him more than twice. I really appreciated that undertone there.
That scene was very funny. But no, the relationship between Layla and Dee just fell so flat to me. I will say I am surprised. Again, in my earlier thing of like, I'm surprised at how restrained this is for a ostensibly edgy 90s anime. I am surprised they didn't fuck.
Yeah.
Apparently, Dee doesn't fuck in the books. He's very reserved and keeps pretty distant from people.
Dee is abstinence until I die. Which is never.
Never.
Eventually, Meyer and Charlotte make it to the castle of Carmilla, a member of vampire royalty who promises to send them to space in her gothic church vampire spaceship.
This was when I realized that there were vampires in space, and I fell so hard in love with this.
One of my watch notes is just vampires in space.
In space.
So Carmilla is actually this, like, crazy, powerful vampire ghost. She was killed by Dee's dad hundreds of years ago, but she's such a powerful vampire that her spirit haunts the castle and is able to just kind of exist as a spirit. Turns out, Carmilla actually just wants to use Charlotte's blood to regain her physical form, and that's the whole reason why she invited Charlotte and Meyer over. She's like, "Oh, use my spaceship. I definitely won't eat one of you." And so Dee, the few Marcus brothers who haven't died by this point, and Meyer all have to fight against Carmilla in her silly, spooky castle illusions.
I was really, really hoping that we were going to get there and she was going to steal Myers' girl because of all, like, the Carmilla homoerotic novella shit.
Oh my god, that would have been so cool. No, instead she's just performative monster fucker supporter.
I do love her design, though. She looks awesome.
God, she looks so good.
I'm normal about Carmilla.
Gosh, I sure am bored. My favorite podcast only uploads every other week, so all I can do until the next episode comes out is cry into my Haruko Haruhara body pillow.
Reverse those tears back into your eye holes, sad listener person.
We're here to solve all your sadness problems.
And also promote ourselves financially.
Oh my gravy! It's Beanie, Laurel, and MaeMae from the Weeb Years, my favorite anime podcast I was just crying about.
Silly listener person, didn't you know that the Weeb Years has a Patreon with tons of exclusive bonus content?
You get access to exclusive recordings and videos, read the notes we take while doing research,
Plus, you can get new episodes 3 days early. That makes you better than everyone else for 3 whole days.
Wow, that all sounds so cool. I wish I had the $100 a month it costs to access all those amazing extra goodies.
Silly listener person, you can access all that fantabulous bonus material for only $5 a month.
Sugoi!
Haha, never say that again.
Just go to patreon.com/theweebyears to cure all your boredom and sadness forever.
Sorry about your wall, by the way.
So I did something a little bit different for the retroviews this time. I only have one review for you, and we're not necessarily looking at it in the same way that we usually look at these old reviews.
Let's get weird!
Oh, I'm so ready to be weird.
This review is from Alan Divers of Anime News Network from 2002, when the DVDs and the VHS would have first come out in America. I don't want to be too mean to Alan here, but I'm not convinced they actually watched the movie.
Oh, no.
First off, the review opens attributing the novel series to Yoshiaki Kawajiri, who directed the film, didn't write the books. And also, they call him Shoji Kawajiri for reasons I cannot find an answer for.
Huh.
But there's a number of things that they say in the review that just don't make sense to me.
Okay.
I'm dying. You gotta go.
Part horror, part western, part romance, and part samurai action film, Bloodlust combines the best of each genre to reach the viewers on a variety of levels. Little weird, okay, moving on. Instead of the dark and brooding dominance of the first film, Bloodlust presents things in a much brighter tone.
Okay.
Those two were a bit weird, but this is the big one that really got me.
Okay.
The character designs show their roots in the original film, expanding with a variety of new and intriguing monster designs, as well as mecha designs.
Oh.
I wonder if maybe they mean the vehicles, because there's some
Maybe the
crazy
vehicles or maybe the
vehicles.
horse.
Oh.
Either of those are incredibly flimsy to apply, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%. I think we're reaching, but we're trying to defend this person.
The story works on a variety of levels, being something different for how the viewer watches the movie. What the fuck does that mean? At its heart, it is an action film, with chase scenes, fighting scenes, and lots of explosions? Next to that is the dramatic subplots of a man struggling with his inner demons and a couple locked in a forbidden romance. These various subplots and almost contradictory storylines meld together to produce a strong film with a stirring plot. I am not convinced Alan actually watched, or at least paid attention to the movie. I think Alan glanced at the movie and glanced at a synopsis.
I think it could be that. I also think it could be them not being familiar with anime terms, if they usually do other types of reviews.
They write for Anime News
Oh,
Network!
okay, I missed that they write for Anime News Network. Yeah,
It just
I don't
doesn't
know.
jive with the actual movie. Like, there's just enough little things. Also, there's like a whole paragraph and a half that's just talking about the special features on the DVD. In general, even taking out the parts of the review that like don't really mesh with what the movie actually is, it kind of reads like you had a book report due the next morning and forgot until the very last second. There's a lot of like what feels like padding. Like, look, listen, being a full-time professional reviewer has to be an incredibly hard job. There is a lot that you have to do. You have to go through so many editors, and you just, I don't want to be mean to Alan. But this was a noticeably strange review that I just really wanted to talk about.
I think also it's worth noting that us, like, criticizing the review isn't us criticizing this guy's character. He probably has other great reviews. This one is just bizarre.
This review is also like 23 years old.
I don't think we're making any character calls on this guy. I think this review just maybe didn't hit the mark at all.
Now, MaeMae, you apparently, as you said, did not understand the assignment, and you watched the movie in both the sub and the dub. I'm very curious to hear, like, what were some of the main takeaways from that?
Biggest takeaway, I feel like the Japanese dub, which, wow, that's weird to say. But I'd say that one, I feel like it's a little smoother, a little more the seductive side of gothic horror. There's something about Mayer and Dee's voice that really, like that vampire mesmerizing, it really works in Japanese. I'm not saying it does it in English, but it tickles a part of the brain that is like, oh, I should do or listen to these characters, these vampires.
No, Meyer and Dee in the dub are both highlights of the cast. Their voices are great.
Oh no, they're delicious. But there's just something a little bit extra magical about the Japanese there. It is, of course, a lot funnier in English just because the jokes land a little bit different. Some of the quips from Layla are a lot funnier in English just simply because that's the language I speak.
I am very curious. If you had to choose, would you recommend the dub or the sub to, or let me rephrase, would you recommend the English dub or the Japanese dub to someone who hasn't seen this movie before?
This is a trick question because it's anime and I almost always recommend to watch it in Japanese simply because it usually has subtitles. But if I'm being unbiased, this is the one time I'm going to tell you to watch it in English.
See, I firmly believe that there is a large number of dubs out there that are better than the sub version, that are better than the Japanese dub. And some of the ones that I think are better in dub have to do with setting or aesthetics, like Bakano, set in 1920s America.
Yeah.
Absolutely, the dub is better. It is a good dub by itself, but also just aesthetically, it makes more sense to watch the dub. I could see that argument also being made for this because it is very very gothic European and everything, so it would make sense to me for it to be watched in the English dub.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. I can absolutely get behind setting as a reason to watch one language over another, this being a very good exception, or a very good example. I mean, if you have time, watch both. It's just as good. And I'm not really one to watch movies more than once very quickly. I typically like to watch it once or maybe twice and then let it sit for a couple of years. I had no trouble with this one. It's fantastic either way you choose.
And I saw a lot of people saying that this is a great one to rewatch because you pick up on a lot of things early on that you might not have been keyed into, especially with Charlotte.
Yeah. So the first watch, you're focusing on the characters. The second watch, you can really appreciate those backgrounds.
Using this as a segue to go into our every so often a segment, would you recommend this today? MaeMae, would you recommend this today?
Yes, please come over. We'll watch it right now.
How's about you, Laurel?
I'm going to force my wife to watch this with me.
Okay, in my opinion, the plot is thin and the characters are flat. But this is one of the most gorgeous, well-animated, visually striking pieces of media I have ever seen. And I don't think that's hyperbolic.
Yeah.
So, MaeMae, if people liked this episode, where else can they find us?
So you can find us at Weeb Years at Blue Sky.
And if you have any comments, criticisms, suggestions, fan mail, hate mail, you can send it to theweebiers@gmail.com.
Hopefully not the hate mail, but we'll take what we can get, I guess.
I mean, it gives us something to talk about.
It might be nice to know our flaws. It's growth.
We really hope that you enjoy this little show of ours, and if so, we'd really like if you could share it around to all your anime-loving friends, share it on social media, leave a comment, leave a review, a like, wherever it is you're listening to this. That is the kind of thing that helps us grow and be able to do more of this thing that we like, and that you like, ostensibly. MaeMae, you want to play some Castlevania Judgment with me?
Sure, why not? I don't know that one. Why is that one? What's Judgment?
That's the fighting game on the Wii that was done by the same artist as Death Note.
Oh.
It's apparently real bad.
Hold up. Actually, enthusiastically, yes.
Good night, everyone.
Did you say good night?
You did say good night.
It's
really
vampires.
Cute. It's really cute. I like it.
Shut
Night
up.
night.
Good night, everyone.
Night night.
Good night.